and welcome to another draft of Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. Alright, so pick one, pack one. We have a few pretty good choices here. First of which is Lion's Sash. So this card is very similar to one you might know, Scavenging Ooze. This allows you to exile cards from your opponent, from anyone's graveyard, to put 1/1 counters on this. And then you can reconfigure it, which means you can attach it to a creature. And then that creature gets the same bonuses that the Lion Sash has from those counters. So this card is excellent, very powerful. Blossom Prancer, also another green card, very, very strong. 5 mana, 4/4 reach that essentially draws a card. Except for you get to actually look at the top 4 and pick one. It's got to be a creature or enchantment, though. Both these cards are excellent picks. I think the Blossom Prancer is actually better because it's less situational. The Lion Sash really excels when you and your opponent have lots of stuff in your graveyard, whereas the Prancer is just always good. I also just like green better in this format, so I'm going to go with that as my first pick. So for pick 2 here, there's a colorless vehicle here, so you got to crew it with 4 power worth of creature in order to turn this artifact into a creature. It's going to be a 5/5 menace, but the real kicker is that this is essentially a 4 mana 5/5 sort of. That when it enters, it deals damage to twice the number of vehicles you control to target creature or planeswalker. So it's usually going to be the only vehicle on the battlefield, which means it's going to deal, one vehicle times 2, so 2 damage or something. And that's, in my experience, a reasonable amount to justify it, although I don't think it's necessarily the pick here. There's also this removal spell in the Fall of Lord Konda, which I think I like quite a bit. I think the Fall of Lord Konda is a little bit better. It kills a thing and then eventually turns into a 1/3. But I kind of like the idea of taking this reasonable colorless card and staying open. And not kind of commit to any colors quite yet. Wow, this is a very powerful pack. Oni Cult Anvil is one of the best uncommons in the format, so this is a 2 mana in Rakdos colors artifact that essentially allows you to repeatedly drain 1 life from your opponent every single turn, as well as take advantage of some other synergies by allowing you to sacrifice your artifacts. So this card is quite strong. It can also give you random 1/1s. There's also a bunch of cool cards for some kind of green-white enchantments deck, which I certainly wouldn't mind playing. It's a great follow-up to our Blossom Prancer. And there's also the Modern Age, which I also like quite a bit. This card is very strong. 2 mana, 2/3 flying, but you loot twice first. It's just all gravy. This is a very tough pick. I think I'm going to go with the Modern Age. Just because I think it's better on balance than on those other cards. Although I think it was close. Okay, so here's another kind of interesting pick here. This pack is weaker. Definitely weaker. There's a good synergy card for the artifact deck with this Runaway Trash Bot. It gets +1/+weak for your artifact or enchantment in your graveyard. Now, of course, if we do go for some kind of enchantments thing, we could still play this. It's just not going to be great because I think that the artifact deck, because of the channel ability, is really something that is more likely to take advantage of that. I think my pick here is going to be this reasonable green card here called Commune with the Spirits. 1 mana, let's just look at the top 4, put an enchantment or land into our hand. I like this card a lot. It helps you splash extra colors and find your good enchantment cards. And I'm just going to take it. Also worth considering maybe will be the Mirror Shell Crab. But yeah, this pack is weak in general, so I'm happy to just take this playable card. Okay, so here on this follow-up, notably there's no kind of great white cards, so maybe that white isn't necessarily open like it sort of indicated that it was in those first few picks. But I also don't see anything green either, or really much of anything at all. I think Kumano Faces Kakazan is a pretty good red card, although we currently aren't going in a red direction. Maybe we want to pivot towards that. 1 mana enchantment that deals 1 damage to them, and then puts a counter on a thing, and then turns into a 2/2 haste. It's just a lot of aggressive value. That being said, it's a little bit committal, not just in the sense that we're switching another color, but we're also committing to me an aggressive deck. So that makes me want to just take the Shrine Steward instead. I think that helps us keep a little bit more open. Okay, so now in this pack, we have another kind of interesting pick here. We have Voltage Surge pretty late. This is 1 mana for 2 damage or 4 damage if you sack an artifact. That card is excellent. Suit Up, a great blue card. It really incentivizes you to try to be aggressive, though, which our deck currently is not doing a great job of doing, but it could help us kind of stay in blue. And then, of course, this 4 mana 3/3 trample that lets you cast artifacts from your graveyard. Pretty solid. I'm getting the feeling that red is open, and I'm actually going to go for the Voltage Surge, even though I think the Suit Up is probably the smarter pick. I kind of want to play red. I haven't really gotten a chance of playing many red cards recently. I think my last, maybe somewhere between 5 and 7 drafts, I don't think I've drafted red once. Anyway, so the follow-up here, there's really not a whole lot going on in this pack. Maybe we just take another Shrine Steward, and then we really are incentivized to get some good targets for it. Maybe the Kunai as a cheap artifact if we did want to go that artifact route. It's not the best artifact in the world, though. I think I'm going to take that. I talked myself into it. Okay, so now for this next pack. Yeah, again, not a lot going on here. The Mirror Shell Crab is a good slow blue card. I think the artifact deck in general wants to be an aggressive deck, not a slow deck. So this does not point us towards that blue-red artifacts thing I was talking about, but it does point us towards that blue-green control deck that I was talking about. So I think I'm just going to pick up that. Okay. Yeah, not a lot going on here. This Rieto Sentinel might be playable if we end up in that super grindy green control deck that gets a lot of season of renewals. Okay. Kind of a lot of junk here. I like Network Terminal, though. This card allows us 3 mana to get an artifact taps for any color, and then lets us loot in the late game. I think this card is actually going to be a very critical part of our deck, because it looks like we're trying to be some kind of grindy or maybe even artifact-y kind of deck. These are all unplayable, I think. Another crab, that's interesting, okay. And then these cards don't matter, okay. So, very confused first pack here. Not great so far. Although we are set up for some kind of slow, dirtily million-color deck, if we so choose. And a great start for that is another Blossom Prancer. The card is just excellent. Now, there's an okay artifact here, I guess, but we're really not interested in white. This card is great in the artifact aggressive decks because in combination with cards such as Experimental Synthesizer, you can sacrifice cards that want to be sacrificed anyways to make 3/1s, which is a great deal. That being said, I think we're just going to take the Blossom Prancer. This card is just 5 mana 4/4 reach, draws a card. That's exactly what we're looking for in kind of a slow, controlling deck. Worth noting, it can also gain 4 life if we choose to not draw with it, which means that this can be a 5 mana 4/4 reach that gains 4 life, which can really help you stabilize against an aggressive start by your opponent. Now for the follow-up here, we are still trying to avoid white, I think, even though I think some of the white cards may be some of the better cards in the pack here. I do like the Moonsnare Specialist a lot, though, and I think we are kind of leaning towards this green-blue with splash color as being kind of our home. Second Network Terminal is also a little bit interesting, but I think I just want to take good cards and just try to, solidify, just to get some kind of core of our deck going. Interesting dual land here could be the pickup, given that I don't think that this pack really has much else to offer either. This Mnemonic Sphere could be interesting, just as a card draw effect, although I don't know if our deck quite needs it. A little bit awkward that this is splashing for a color that we're currently not in, but I think it's good enough for now. I'm willing to take it and try to stay open. So Okay, a couple good blue cards here. I really do like Replication Specialist. This is 5 mana, 3/4 flying that lets you copy an artifact when it enters for 2 mana, which is a great deal. We can copy, these giant vehicles. We can copy Shrine Stewards, which currently we don't have a target for yet, which is a little bit awkward. I mean, even copy crabs if somehow we have enough mana. I think this is clearly the pickup. And yeah, we are leaning towards some kind of bizarre controlling version of an artifact-y green and blue deck. This is a little bit confused. Okay, interesting choices here. So, Suit Up is probably the best card, although this really wants you to be aggressive, and we're not. We're very, very, very much not. Tameo Safekeeping is a pretty reasonable protection spell if we do end up in green. And I think that's actually going to be the pick. Sky's Swimmer Koi is also interesting. This 4 mana 3/3 flyer that lets us loot, which means draw and then discard whenever we play an artifact, is strong, but I've noticed it dies to a lot of removal in the format, and I really like to have a safekeeping, so I'm just going to take that. We can probably pick up another one of those Kois later. To follow that up, the good cards in the pack: Spirited Companion, good Roadblock that draws you a card, and like I said, we kind of took this Blossoming Sands, which can help us go into white, which white is a great control color in this format because of not only Spirited Companion, but also because of a 6 mana sorcery called, what was it, Loyal Oath or something like that, that gives you 3/3s and then scries 3. I'm going to take the Moonsnare Specialist, though, because I think it's a safer pick, although I'm keeping an eye open for white. White might be open. And if it is, I really would like to get some of those late-game white cards. Skyswimmer Koi, like I said, tends to wheel around, so here it comes. That looks like a pretty good pickup here. We could end up splashing red, taking advantage of this Voltage Surge we picked up, and then this Invigorating Hot Spring could be a pretty strong card. This essentially allows us to get 4 counters that we can distribute over the course of the game along our creatures and then give them all haste. But I think I'm going to take the Koi for now and try to stick to our artifact plan. And in that same vein, Network Terminal is another sweet pickup to fix our mana and loot. Thornwood Falls lets us kind of splash around for more colors, because it's going to fix our 2 main colors. And then a bunch of garbage, it doesn't matter. What does it do again? Yeah, don't care. Okay. Card draw effect in blue, sure, why not? I guess, what is this, the one that pumps? Yeah, no thank you. Random artifacts. Alright, yeah, this draft deck is still not looking like one of my better decks. It's still very confused. It's still got a lot of issues in terms of early game, in terms of power, in terms of synergy. It's just kind of lacking in a lot of fields here. So I think what we need to do is definitely be splashing into another color if we can't really make this work. Season of Renewal is interesting as helping our late game plan, but I think I want to take Kami's Flare, which is a 2 mana, deal 3 damage to a creature. Perfectly reasonable. Allows us to kind of keep surviving the early game, and I think we will probably end up trying to splash red as our tertiary color. In that same vein, this card is pretty interesting. I lost to it really badly in my last draft, and showed you the power of that. But sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes they kill this thing after giving the opponents the rats, and it's really bad. So I'm just going to take the Kami's Flare, another cheap removal spell, and I'm beginning to think that we should... What should we do? I guess we'll have to wait for the future packs to tell us what to do. So, okay, tough choice. So, Experimental Synthesizer is one of the better red artifact cards. 1 mana artifact lets you exile a top card and cast it that turn, and then do it again once this thing gets sacked. And like I was talking about the Voltage Surge, there's a lot of ways to sacrifice that artifact for other value, which will let you trigger its ability again. So it kind of is the weird 1 mana draw 2 cards if you set it up correctly. That being said, I don't think we're going to be setting that up correctly, and I kind of just want to take early drops. I think I'm just going to take the Smelter. Not totally sure about that pick there. Okay, so Ecologist Terrarium is a great card for splashing extra colors, helps us with whatever kind of artifact shenanigans we're trying to do. This might be the one deck where I'm actually considering playing Disruption Protocol, because it looks like we have a lot of random artifacts that we can actually reliably use this as a 2-mana counterspell. A little awkward that it's double blue, though, given that we're trying to splash around colors, but whatever. Oh, okay, that's really interesting. So Mech Titan Core, 2-mana, 2/4, Crew 2 vehicle. Not as relevant as its ridiculous ability, which is 5 mana. You exile this and 4 other artifact, creatures, or vehicles to create this ridiculous 10/10 that probably wins the game. I think that's our new plan. We found a plan. Now, I think we're going to try to run as many random artifact, creatures, and vehicles as we can now to try to support this so that we can randomly get people with the 5-mana Ice Bait ability make a 10/10. And to continue on that path, we have a random bad 2-mana artifact. Synergizes with our random stacking stuff. It synergizes with the fact that we need early game. So yeah, I think this is a good pickup. Let's just take that. Okay, whoa, this card is incredibly strong. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you reanimate a vehicle, and then it goes back to your hand. Very, very strong. If we had vehicles, which we currently have a single one of, so that's a little bit awkward. This card is also very, very strong, but makes us splash into 2 more colors. Good lord. I think I'm just taking the Grove Archer. Okay, so this card helps us splash for our red, so I'm happy to take that. I did mention that I like the counterspell a little bit more than I usually do, but liking it a little bit more than the hating it is still disliking it, and I will just take this. Okay, more cheap artifacts, don't mind if I do. These cards are all bad. I guess I'll take the only... yeah, I'm really not playing any of these. Whatever. Okay, we probably don't need a second terminal. We also don't need a second... We don't need a third terminal. We also don't need a third crab. I guess we need a third terminal more. Alright, Disruption Protocol. I'll take it. And whatever. And whatever. Alright, so this deck is, I think, a little bit of a train wreck. I think this one, I mean, it was a tough seat in the first place, but I think this deck is a little bit confused. Let's definitely cut this bad thing, because I don't think we're really having really much... this thing, 3-mana, 3/3 Defender, which you can't attack. It enters battlefield, mills 3 cards, or target player mills 3 cards, and then it can randomly put things from graveyards into the library. None of those abilities are relevant. Defender is a downside. It's a 3-mana, 3/3 with a downside. No thank you. Okay. Don't think I want to play the Kunai. So this is essentially your removal spell that relies us on having an actual creature on the battlefield. And for that reason, I mean, I don't think we have enough creatures to justify it. Let me think, though. What would be our next cuts? I guess... I mean, weirdly enough, our green kind of didn't get there, and realistically, we're a red-blue control deck, which sounds gross, because, man, red-blue is a really aggressive color combo in this format. But I really want to play Blossom Prancers, and I think the Blossom Prancers are still going to be good, even if they're double splash here. And we have 2 dual lands, I can splash it, as well as 2 network terminals, and a Ecologist Terrarium. I think we can actually get away with splashing these cards, even though they're double off color. So what's our one last cut then? It could be the Disruption Protocol because it requires double blue here for this counterspell. It could be this Mnemonic Sphere because it's just a mediocre artifact that kind of draws us cards, and we already have plenty of card draw. Our problem is that we just don't have enough muscle to back up that card draw. I kind of want to run this Archer even though it's Splash. Oh, Puzzle Maker, that's pretty bad in our deck. 3 mana, 1/4 flying, and when it becomes tapped, scry 1. Attacking with your 1/4s is usually a recipe for disaster, so that ability usually doesn't matter unless you're already winning. We could just cut a land. I don't think that's what we want to do either. I guess this thing. What artifacts are we actually going to sacrifice? We don't want to sacrifice that. This one we're okay with sacrificing. This one we're okay with sacrificing. Oh wait, did we even get any auras or shrines for this? I think we totally bricked on that. Oh yeah, easy cut. Okay, there we go, 40 cards. Oh man, yeah, not feeling great about this one. We'll see though. We'll see. It could be worse. This is kind of an example of how I think the artifact synergies in this format just tend to... There just tends to be a lot less muscle to them, a lot less cards involved in the artifact synergies than there are in the enchantment synergies. That being said, though, I mean, we did pass some of the artifact synergy cards early, because I certainly do have a bias against that particular deck. Okay, so... Interesting. So, I think because they went turn 1 Disruptor, I'm actually going to lead on Mountain instead of playing out my tapped land, because I want to see if they try to ninjutsu something in. If they do, I want to burn it. There it is. Okay. And you get burned. Nice. What is this? Tap for any color to repel to vehicles. Aw, poor opponent. Okay, I guess we just get our card draw online. Play this thing, pass the turn. Disruptor, sure. If they have no follow-ups, I'm feeling pretty good. Alright. Ooh, okay, so this could be a good opportunity to run out our network terminal, to get that online. But I also kind of like just holding up 2 or 3 mana for any one of these different plays here. Interesting question as to whether I run this out. Because if I run this out, I can commit to either Kami's Flare or Mnemonic Sphere. I think... Man, this is tough. I think I'm going to actually, no. Yeah, I'm going to play the Mountain instead, because then I can threaten to channel the Crab. I think that's a little bit better. Opponent is attacking us. And what do they got? Oh, okay, yeah, I'm very glad I left open the counterspell now, because their removal spell wouldn't have done it here. Let's go, okay. So let's just run out Network Terminal. And now if I play another land, we're leaving open 2 mana here because the Network Terminal taps for mana. And so yeah, if they ninjutsu something in, I can kill it. They do not. That thing. That's a little annoying. So if I sack this artifact, I can just draw 2 cards right away, which is pretty nice. This thing actually doesn't return anything, right? Because they... Oh, no, wait, it does. Huh. Okay, I'm going to sacrifice this because I can't kill that anyways. But now I'm incentivized to try to make sure they can't attack with this. This thing does have crew 2, so they actually can't currently crew it, which is worth noting. Okay, let's run out the tap land. Bricking on stuff to do is a little bit awkward here because we really want an artifact in play to start using our network terminal to tap it to draw and then discard. That's annoying. So they are going to be able to get their thing back. Yeah. Can't stop this. Yeah, so that's coming back to the hand. Wow, this is very annoying. I mean, maybe we just have to trade 2 cards to kill that thing and get 3 for 1 ourselves. I mean, our alternative is this thing is only basically going to kill things that this thing gets back anyways, right? We can't just let him keep getting this back. It's brutal. Okay, I think I am going to go for the block and then kill it. Oop, okay. Nope, we're in a lot of trouble now. Okay, our opponent did not ninjutsu something, which is very weird. They had an easy opportunity to bounce their network disruptor back and run out their ninja again. It's a very strange play. Maybe they really wanted to get the scry off before they drew for some reason. I don't understand what that was about. Alright, well, this is the happiest I've ever been to see Papercraft Decoy. Let's go ahead and... because we're not blocking with this anyways. Let's tap it now to draw a card right now. Discard, sure, we don't need any more forests. Sure, there we go. Alright. So, let's see, what's there to talk about here? I mean, our opponent's still winning. They have a lot more kind of card advantage stuff going on. Our network terminal with our decoy is going to be able to draw and then discard a bunch of times, which is pretty sweet. It might help us get out of this. But currently, our opponent has a lot of pressure on us. Remember that these 2 sagas are coming down as creatures next turn. Although that was kind of a sweet draw. We just get a big old 5/7 with Ward. I mean, it's not going to stop the flyers and the ninjas and all that, but that's a roadblock. I'm going to keep the land in my hand so that I can discard it to the network terminal. Yep, they get creatures from their sagas. And then here comes that. I assume ninjutsu now, right? Got a ninjutsu at some point. There we go. Opponent figures out how ninjas work. Very nice. Although maybe depending on what's in their hand, they maybe should have actually... maybe that would have been the one correct time to actually save it, because then they could, next turn, use the Vector Glider and bounce back the Vector Glider so that they could loot again. But anyways... I think I'm going to do the same trick I did last time and just loot on our turn, even though I kind of like this Papercraft Decoy on defense. I think the Mirror Shell Crab is doing a decent enough blocking up the defense anyways, and we really need to loot on our turn so that we can get some card draw going and actually play something on our turn. I mean, our deck was all at sorcery speed anyways. Sweet, okay. So now we actually found something. That's good. So what's our opponent probably going to do next turn? So I can imagine them playing out the Tapper and then paying the ward cost on this crab to be able to get in. If they do, then we can Kami's Flare something, and we're probably going to... Oh, okay, so they're just going to kill it. Alright, cool. Yeah. So yeah, we probably have to Kami's Flare something, and I imagine that's the Moon Circuit Hacker or the Vector Glider. It could also be the suit, because they're definitely going to crew that up and attack us, just to maximize their damage, because why not? We are under a lot of pressure, so that might actually be the pick. since we're having a hard time blocking flyers anyways. Yeah, well, I like that play, actually. Wow, they tap the hacker? Why don't they tap the Hand of Enlightenment? That's so strange. Okay, whatever. I guess. You do you, opponent. Yeah. Part of why I was nervous about this deck here. I think we're doing quite poorly despite our opponent making some questionable plays. So currently we're just dead on board, right? So I have to do something. Wow. Okay. Yep, that'll do it. Yeah, this is kind of the way that you'd rather, yeah, no, we're just dead. I'm not even going to show him the counterspell. Ooh, brutal, brutal. We definitely kind of... Well, we didn't exactly run out of things to do, because we did have that terminal looting and stuff. We just didn't have the raw power to match all their ground creatures and stuff. Okay, I like this hand better. We have stuff to do in the early turns, and by stuff, of course, I mean the Modern Age, which I think is just excellent. I didn't really check to see if our deck could actually activate this or not. I probably should. Oh, sweet. Yep. I'll run this out. Okay. Probably don't need the millionth blue source. Red. Okay, so this is probably the poster child, red-white deck, the Samurai Warriors. What do we discard here? We have a lot of kind of awkward stuff. Probably the Sphere, because the next turn I can just go Specialist, Specialist, Specialist with the core, and that's probably our game plan. Yeah. There's an argument maybe for waiting on this until we have the Specialist out, so that way we can just get one more vehicle on the battlefield. And this is not doing much anyways, but I think I'm going to run this out, because then our Specialist is going to bounce something, and we can get in with the core by crewing the Specialist. Oh, that's annoying. Yikes, okay. Yep, run this out. Please go away. I'm just gonna pass. So the reason I'm not attacking there and crewing up is because they have this 3/3 haste next turn, or probably this turn. And I'd like to be able to crew the core with my Specialist and then double block the 3/3 when it attacks. Or at least just double block Specialist and Glider on the 3/3. In either case, we're threatening to trade off with the 3/3 instead of just letting them hit us with it. We can even just block with the core, and that's it. That's another interesting play. I think if they go for it... Oh, they don't. Yeah, I think if they go for it, I would have crewed with the Glider and then double blocked with the core and the Specialist. That way, when they get to kill one of our things, they can just kill a random Specialist, and I don't care. I could play a Replication Specialist right now, or I can get this Blossom Prancer online. I mean, I see a solid argument for both. I kind of like card draw, so I'm going to run out the Prancer first. Okay. Prancer into Prancer is exactly the kind of magic I like to play. I think I'm actually going to get in now. We'll let our opponent hit us. I mean, we have this reach creature. We have plenty of blockers. I'm feeling like that was a safe attack. Our opponent went out of their way to have mismatched lands, which is funny. Good for them. Oh god. That's scary. They get the steal thing until end of turn. Okay. Oh, I could have crewed the core with that. That was a mistake. Well, let's not compound our mistakes. And let's just block there. Alright. Okay, so... I think we... Do we have that 1 mana green card still on our deck? Whatever, I don't think it matters. Run the Prancer. Sure. Okay. What do I leave back here? I think I get in with that. And so they're gonna get pumped 1. It's gonna be a 4/3. I'm still okay with trading off. Yeah, I'm gonna attack like that. Then this turns into a 3/3 haste. Okay. This card probably doesn't see as much play as it deserves, given that it sees like literal 0 play. Looks like it's doing okay right now. Not exactly impressive or anything, but it's doing okay. Alright, so they only have 1 mana up. They could have the pump spell, the 1 mana, like put a 1/1 counter on something. In which case, okay, so I could crew with the Prancer double block, or I could just block with the Prancer. So if I crew the Prancer double block, I feel like that works out better for me in more cases. Because I think even if they have that pump spell I was talking about, they can still only kill one of these 2 blockers. And I just don't think we're getting there on the Mech Titan core of this game. Okay. Sweet. Yeah, that worked out well for us. Do I just slam the crab? Attack with the dorks, slam the crab? I think that's where we're at. We could also bounce the samurai and then crew and get in with everything. That's very aggressive. I think I like it. Because that also lets us leave open 3 mana for the counterspell crab. Okay, yeah, I'm going to do that. Bounce you. I'm aware that our opponent is about to get a 3/3 haste, but I think we're the beatdown now. Yep. Opponent's resorted to chump blocking. Works for me. Sure, get your 3/3. And we have a counter spell up in case they have the Imperial Oath. Which is kind of the only thing we're worried about at this point, I think. Although I'm probably just going to counter anything that costs 4 more mana. Actually, no. 5 more mana. Is that the second one? Huh. Cool. Okay. Interesting. We still have lethal on board. I guess I can ensure that it's super lethal. If I play... Wait, no. If I play this, I won't have counterspell mana up. Yeah, I'll just go to combat. Attack with everything. Counterspell whatever they have. Yeah, like that. No, thank you. Alright. That worked out. Sweet. Yeah, the Counterspell Crab, I think, is a pretty good card, very flexible. I just wish that the format was a little bit more set up for it. Like I said, I think the artifact deck in this format really wants to be an aggressive deck, and the crab just doesn't quite lend itself to that. But it's doing all right in our deck. Certainly don't mind. Let me just switch something here. There we go. All right. Sure. I think we're going to cycle the sphere here. Try to get double blue mana for protocol. Yeah. So discard it, draw a card. Okay. Hello, opponent. So Smelter, like I was mentioning during the draft, really wants to be in a deck with a lot of cheap, aggressive artifacts, and this is not the deck for it. Huh. Wait, did they just play this first and then that? That's the wrong order. Okay. A little weird, but I suppose I shouldn't judge. I guess I'll run out the terminal. Yeah, opponent. Poor opponent. They realize their error. Might as well get in. Yep, there it is. Counters everywhere. Very nice. But good news is we can slam this thing, which does 2 damage to a target, and there's a pretty sweet target right there. Boom. Still, I mean, I could sack this to get it through. No, that's too bad. Yeah, no thank you, no tax. And when this flips around to a 2/2 with haste, if they offer the trade with the Smelter, yeah, I think I'm just going to take it. I just don't think the Smelter's going to be doing much this game. Okay. Speaking of not doing much, our opponent looks like they just kind of ran out of steam there. Okay, I'll take it. Let's see. I kind of like the idea of going tap for green to run this thing out to let us crew up the... Oh, this is 4. I thought it was 3. That's awkward. Well, anyways, the real point of this was to get the disruption protocol held up while also contributing to the board, and that's what we did. So I'm glad I left up in that counter mana, because good God, that Blossom Prancer would have been quite good here, helping our opponent refuel. I could Kami's Flare that thing down, but I also kind of like just running out the Specialist here, because this allows us to tap our creatures to crew our mech and actually get in for some damage. Nice, okay. Another Prancer. Is this the Teamer Prancer, Teamer double Prancer mirror match here? What is going on? Okay, Raptor Growth, nice. I think I just want to run this out and then stay on defense past the turn. Now, if they put this on a land. They get a 1/1 counter, which I assume they're gonna, yeah, they're gonna put on the Prancer. And if they attack with it, I'll just try to trade it off for our vehicle. Happy to get rid of that vehicle. Okay. Boom, boom. The blocks. There we go. Okay. Now the question is, do I crack the sphere for 2 cards, or do I start looting with it? I think the answer is I'm going to crack it, because I still don't really want to discard either of these cards, and I'm probably going to get another artifact later. I think that worked out pretty well. We get a Prancer of our own. I think this is the correct play, right? Yeah. Let's just do it. Prancer. Oh, and we miss. That's brutal. 350. Oh, I should have looked. Our opponent looks like they might be running out of gas, though, which is nice. I guess I said that earlier. These crabs are probably not actually going to get a counterspell off anytime soon. But this Kami's Flare could be useful. Why don't I try to bait them into double blocking? Attack with a Prancer. They do not take the bait. Okay, I will then run out the decoy, pass the turn. This lets us leave up the Mana Flare and the crab. Not Mana Flare, the Kami's Flare. I'm guessing we won't actually be able to counter anything with a crab, given that this only counters things unless they pay 3 and the opponent has an obscene amount of mana. Okay. Maybe we actually will get a counter off on the crab here, because if they cast a Blossom Prancer, yeah. Okay, sweet. They now don't have enough mana to get around that. Alright. Yep. And, okay. Cool. I'm going to keep that land in my hand to discard to the terminal. Actually, will I? Because I kind of also want to cast this crab. Given that it's going to dominate the board. Why don't we just get in first and see what our opponent does? Nothing. Alright. How much mana away are we from casting the crab? See, we're at 4, 5, 6, and this would be 7. Okay, so if we play this lane, we can actually just cast the crab next turn. So I'm just going to run it out. Sure. Okay, go to combat. I assume nothing. Okay. Do I Kami Flare that now? It is slowly killing me. And I am gonna have stuff to... Yeah, I'm just gonna kill it now. Oh, okay, cool. Nice. That was sweet. Again, I think our counterspell crab really saved the day there. So, more and more impressed with that thing. That being said, I'm still not super happy about this deck so far. It's just kind of got a lot of awkwardness going on and inefficient synergies. Like this. What is going on here? We got this crazy vehicle. I still don't even know if we actually are able to flip this with the cards in our deck. Then a bunch of double network terminal. Good lord. Alright, well, if we're against a slow deck, then I actually feel a little bit better about this. What, we're going decoy on 2, terminal on 3 still? Yeah, wait, do I run out the archer now, or... No, I think I just run out the decoy. The argument for running out the archer would be that if they're playing, like, some ninja-y thing with, like, Cap Attack Wreckers and Windstar Specialists and all that, then this is going to be a much better roadblock. And then... Oh, huh. Okay, maybe they are. I don't know. But the argument for keeping this in our hand, of course, that we can channel it to just straight up destroy a creature with flying. Now there's an interesting question here of whether we leave up the counter spell or we play the Mana Rock. So, playing the Mana Rock is obviously the higher upside play for now. And I think, so if I hold up the thing, then next turn, if I play the Mana Rock, I still can't hold up the thing. So I'm just going to play out this now, and if they play a broken spell, then okay, you got me. But I really like the ability of being able to, next turn, play out this thing and hold this up. Which I think I can do, right? Yeah. What do you got? Are you going to kill spell my decoy? Huh. Weird attack. I will happily offer the trade. I assume they got, like, Tameo safekeeping or some kind of... Okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, some kind of blowout. Which, totally cool with. Okay. Yeah, maybe instead of holding up the counter spell, we just run out the archer, because this once again threatens to trade with the thief. And still trades up on mana, so totally reasonable. If we draw a land next turn, do we try to slam the crab? Feels awkward. Maybe we just do. Yeah, I'm kind of vibing with it. Crab ya. What you got? They got something up for 2 mana or less. Maybe it's Lethal Exploit, the 2 mana, give a creature -2/-2. That's something they certainly wouldn't want to cast right now. Could also be the Tameo Safekeeping, the 1 mana, give a creature hexproof and indestructible. Could be some kind of channel thing, but I feel like those two are reasonably likely here. Not exactly sure what our opponent's doing. I feel like Suit Up and Network Terminal don't always really belong in the same deck. And Network Terminal, of course, being a very, very slow, grindy card. Oh, good lord. What is this again? Whenever you cast a... Okay, whenever opponent casts an artifact, you counter the spell. So I can't cast artifacts, instants, or sorceries anymore. Okay. Well, this is the easiest Moonsnare Specialist I've ever seen in my life. Please go away. Of course, this is a temporary solution. I guess I get in. Do I even run this out? I mean, this is kind of bad right now, right? Yeah, I think I'm just going to loot it away. Yeah, I'll just... Yeah. Go to their turn. Let them recast it. And I guess we're trying to loot into another specialist. This card is nuts. I don't think we have any way to handle that. All of our removal are instants. This just counters them. Wow, our opponent is playing something other than the Genitaxius. That is interesting. Okay. Huh. Sure. Guess we get Forest. That was weird. I guess now we have another out of drawing a counter crab, because then we can counter the Genitaxius on its way down. Wow, our opponent is making a lot of very strange plays. I wonder what this means they have. Maybe they have some graveyard recursion of some kind. I'm very confused. Okay, I'm gonna run this out. Okay. Maybe they have counter crab of their own. Okay, let's. Ooh, wait. Let's tap correctly. I want to leave. Actually, wait. All of our green is double green, anyways. Yeah, I'll tap like this. Okay, that's fine. Man, what does our opponent have? Okay. Yeah. It's really not going anywhere. Don't need this in our hand, that's for sure. Because, yeah, once they play that thing, we won't even be able to cast this. Yep. Yeah, I mean, we're so dead. Guess I'll just cycle this. I guess that prevents us from dying for another couple turns. Yeah, I'll Prancer a Prancer. Okay. Oh, this copies the crab too? Okay. Oh, we're so dead. Oh boy. I mean, maybe this is our out. How do we even get to the position? I don't think I even want to play that. What does it do for me? Yeah, I'd rather just keep up my mana to loot away stuff. I don't even know what I'm looking for. And we've drawn more cards than our opponent, so it's not like we're planning on milling them or something. You go to attacks, sure. Sure, I'll trade a Prancer for it. Yep. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what gets out of this, honestly. It might not even really be worth playing here. You know what? This is a good draw. Because this lets us look through our deck and see if there's any way we have to kill that thing. Oh, no it doesn't, because it gets countered. Okay. Yeah, no, I'm about done. I don't think that we really have any realistic answer to the Jin Cataxius. So I'm okay with scooping it up. Somehow, some way, our opponent will find a way to kill us, and if they don't, we would have just killed ourselves from our card draw. Brutal card. That kind of is an interesting illustration of a concept that is really important for drafting. Is if you're going to go for the long game, you really want to have a lot of kind of late game bombs that you're working towards. You don't want to just be a slow deck just because you like playing, the slow deck. You want to actually have power to back it up. Because the longer the game goes, the more likely that both players are going to find their best cards. So, the slower your deck is, the more you are incentivized to go for power, or versus the faster your deck is, the more you're incentivized to go for consistency. And so that's one of the awkward things about our deck, is that it is a slow deck that doesn't have the power to give us a good reason to be slow. Does our opponent? Yeah, okay, so they have their third land. Yep, they get in for 3. Yep. This is fine. We can just run out our Prancer, and this is a pretty good roadblock. I guess I'll take the crab, why not? Taking the 4 life is also worth considering, because they could easily just have a removal spell here. Clock it for another 4, but we're not under that much pressure. I'm a little bit confused because, yeah, our opponent looks like a little bit split here between the Samurai deck versus the Enchantments deck. They're in the colors for the Enchantments deck, and they're running Spirit Companion, but they're playing these Samurai Matters cards. A little bit strange, but okay. So, I could run this out, or I could run this out holding up the counter spell. I think both are pretty reasonable. I do like having a big 5/7 against this board of the dorky creatures. I like this play, though. I'm going to go for this. Because even if they don't have anything that I would be interested in countering, I can always just pop the sphere, draw a couple cards, and this will still be a productive turn. Does this tap? No, it doesn't. So I can even tap the sphere with the terminal and then sack it to draw 2 cards. Should be pretty sweet. Do I have enough mana for that, though? So this costs a mana. Yeah, I don't think I have enough mana for that. Oh wait, no I do. Because, yeah, 1, tap it. Yeah, I have enough mana for that. Okay, yes. That thing. I'm happy to go for the trade here. Works for me. Okay. Kami. Yeah, that's annoying. I'm gonna counter that. They can pick up Spirit Companion, draw another card. Big creature. No thank you. Okay, so let's go Specialist. Hold open a bunch of things. Go ahead. I think I like our position. Okay. This is only going to be +1, so I'm going to take the bait and go for the block here. They definitely have a pump spell. Yeah.
Now you've done it. That's
Okay. Yeah, I'll kill the thing. Huh. Interesting. Do I... Yeah, I'm gonna loot first before I draw. Okay. Oh, probably shouldn't have done that, because I actually... Yeah. Oh, whoops. Why don't I crack this now, since they're not playing black? I'm not worried about losing cards in my hand anyways, and I could get that one red mana shock effect to shock their 1/1. I'll go for the attack here. Actually, maybe there's a bad attack at the end. Now they can chump block and then minus the Wandering Emperor. Yeah, that was a little bit sketchy. I shouldn't have done that.
You're done.
Yeah, that was a bad attack. I regret that. Opponent looks like they're a little bit light on mana though. Suppose this thing is still not doing much for us. I am pretty happy to hold up the counter crab here and bounce their land. Yeah, I'll run this out. Okay.
Let your blade do the talking.
So that was the forest that we bounced off of the Harmonious Emergence. Oh, they have another one. Do I counter that? Or do I just run out the crab? I think I just run out the crab. Which blocks it anyways. Yeah, and the crab lets us start tapping our network terminal. Although we're still a mana short from being able to utilize it all that effectively. I'm not going to attack here. Yeah, I'm just keeping our land in our hand for next turn so we can loot it away. Really would like to get in with this big Vector Glider on the Wandering Emperor next turn. That's going to be big if we can do that. I'm sure there's all kinds of ways our opponent can stop us from doing that, from removing the Vector Glider to playing, you know, Blossom Prancer or any random flyer. But maybe they don't, and if so, we will get away with killing that thing. We also will get that loot, so we get 2 draws to figure out if we can find anything. And see if we can kind of claw back from that big mistake we made earlier. What's in the tank? Yep, counter on the big thing, makes sense. Now, that makes me think that they do have an answer to the Vector Glider, because if they didn't have an answer to it, then they, then they would have cashed it in and made another 2/2. That's kind of risky play here for them, because now if we draw into our other Moonstare Specialist, this is going to be very awkward for them. Because that thing has reach now, which means it does block the Vector Glider. Oh, sweet, okay. I will take it. Nice, okay. Specialist. Oh, our opponent has something up. Do they have the 1 mana give a thing hexproof? Oh, I think they do. Oh, no, they don't. Alright. Very nice. That's a blowout, if I've ever seen one. Yeah, and now we get your Planeswalker. And we can even get in. Sure, whatever.
Back to wandering.
Cool. I'm gonna keep the Smelter in our hand to discard. Again, it's just really not doing much. Could have run it out actually. Maybe a 2-mana 2/2 be fine on this board. Huh. Okay. On second thought, yeah, I think I actually will just run it out. That's 2-mana 2/2. Because I think I want to be attacking while I can. I certainly have quite a big board advantage here. Okay, so this is the old block and pump. Glad I drew this counterspell then. 2 counters on a creature. How about we don't do that? Feels good to beat down with bad cards. Alright. And that thing, okay, it's a good card, but it's great on offense, and our opponent is certainly not doing that. Yeah, I'm just going to get in. I'm still not going to sack the terminal for a 3/1. Tempting as it is. I might next turn, though. Thank you, opponent. Very kind of you. Yep. I'll go off, fire off the shock here. Because, yeah, this should get us lethal, right? 1, 2, 3, okay. Yep. Nice. Alright. 3 wins so far. This is, about the maximum I expect with this deck. But we'll see. If we win one more, we can get close to that breaking even point. So let's see what we can do. I've definitely been really impressed with that crab. My god. It's been doing such good work. And the counterspell, too, hasn't been too bad either. Sure. I think this is a game where I'm going to be... Will I play this out? Yeah, I'm getting a little bit desperate for red mana here. So I am probably going to try to card draw off of our sphere here. If we draw a mountain, that will make things a little more interesting. Because I really would like to play the sphere after I play the specialist, because it will copy the sphere and then get us a couple more cards, which is very good. Ooh, okay. Red mana. Not red mana. Well, might as well... Actually, no, we should leave this on defense. Yeah, I think we just have to run this out, and then next turn pop it and try to get that red mana to kill that thing, because that thing is very strong. Yep. 1 mana. 3/3, you got it. Uh-huh. Okay. Might be too late on killing the naturalist, actually. For those of you who don't know, this thing makes all their enchantments cost 1 less to cast, so they were able to just dump their hand out this turn. Now they're just trading it off. Okay. That's interesting. I'm still going to pop this now. I still would like to shock their creatures. And I still can't. Okay. Very awkward. Finally getting punished for our mana. I know we've actually had pretty good mana for this whole draft so far. We're now feeling the pain here. Whoa, okay. 5 mana, 5/4 flying vigilance. When it dies, do a bunch of things. That's scary. Well, now I think our out is just that we play this, we top deck a basic land, and then we can copy this and shoot this thing down. What does it do if we shoot it down? Put 2 counters on each permanent you control that's a creature or vehicle. Yikes. The top 7 put any number. It's a battlefield. Oh my god. Yeah, maybe we don't even try to kill that. And there's our red, a little bit late. Wow. What do we do? Because if we double this up, it can't even kill 2 things, because this thing is about to can pump itself. Ugh. Brutal, brutal. And we can only cast 1 of our red cards because of our 1 red mana. This is still just a play, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I think we're just dead. Whatever. Yep, okay. And so, what, we're chump blocking? Can also just go to 1. I think I like that a little bit better. Yep. And we're dead. Yep, that'll do it. Damn, okay. Very nice. Well, can't say I didn't see that coming. Like I said, this deck was a little bit awkward. I think it just didn't have the top end muscle to really justify playing the slow deck. It did have some kind of sweet, interesting artifact things going on, but overall just didn't quite get there. But yeah, I think we ran reasonably well for what that deck was, so I'm going to call it there. I'll catch you guys later.